Are you leading with tension that paralyzes your team or urgency that propels them forward? Are you able to recognize and understand the difference between tension and urgency? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Pursuit of Value podcast. Our vision is to harness the power of business to create positive change and lasting impact on people, communities, and the world. Our mission is to empower 1 million business owners each month to transform their mindset, avoid failure, and grow effectively. Please like and subscribe or comment. We'd love to hear from you. Now, season 2 is all about company culture. Last episode, we talked about the challenge of being positive, but also realistic, how that affects your company culture. And today we're going to be discussing the good tension of urgency in business. And it's really all about execution. Now, the goal is to discuss how good tension can fuel growth and innovation and identify how bad tension can lead to stress, disengagement, and burnout. The problem, though, is that most business owners don't notice the difference between good and bad tension. They just know that there's tension. And typically it is chalked up to being busy or lack of capacity, et cetera. So we're going to identify the difference between good and bad tension and realize that when managed strategically, good tension is actually urgency that becomes a productive energy that drives success. It is good tension or urgency that helps the business focus and drives execution. All right, good tension. What is it? Good tension is productive energy, fostering creativity and focus and execution. It's about alignment with company vision and values. There's the right motivation behind it. It's encouraging innovation through constructive debates. It's driving accountability and ownership. It's all good stuff. Now, what is bad tension? Bad tension is just really toxic stress leading to burnout and disengagement. There's a lack of clarity causing confusion and frustration, negativity reducing collaboration and morale. Now think about this. It's pressure without purpose, which erodes productivity. Think about that last statement. Pressure without purpose is typically a response to fear. It is typically self-induced. Now, in my experience, most companies lean towards bad tension, and this is due to many factors. First and foremost, it's poor leadership. I'm just going to come out and say it that if there's a lot of tension and a daily stress in your company, you got to look at the leadership and find out where that's coming from. The daily fire drills due to a lack of good infrastructure, a lack of organization. And then it's people in the wrong roles. If you don't have the right people in the right roles, then it's going to drive stress and tension. Now, growing up, I had a pretty good example of good and bad tension with my dad. Dad was really good at balancing the two of them because dad had a really good motivation. He was kind of like a lovable grizzly bear. Most of the time on the job, you knew that he cared about people. You knew that he loved you and all that stuff. But when it was go time, man, you better stay out of his way because he was intense. He was two different people. Now, here's the deal with my dad, though, is that he had the right motivation. He really cared about people, but when the concrete truck would show up and it was time to pour concrete, man, the intensity went up 10x, and it was time to work and it was time to get stuff done. But man, when the concrete was on the ground and everything was chill, dad was chill. So he had the right motivation, and it was really a good experience for me growing up to watch him manage this. Now, how to create good tension. Key practices for leaders. And we say this all the time, but I can't tell you how important this is. Set clear goals with realistic deadlines. We say this all the time because it matters. You must set the expectation. It's the lack of clarity that will drive fear and confusion. Think about this for a moment. One of the biggest key drivers to fear is the unknown, period. If there's a lack of clarity, there's an increase in the unknown. So you have to be aware of that. If you're not communicating clearly and your people don't understand where the company's going, what they're working on, and there's just a lack of clarity in general, you're going to drive stress. It's just going to happen. So that would be one of the first things that I keep my finger on the pulse of. Next, you want to hold everyone accountable, starting with you at the top. Okay, this means you as the business owner, hold yourself accountable. And then you want to develop systems for sustained focus using tools and milestones. Again, this goes to infrastructure. This goes to having systems in place to handle the volume of work. Now, next, we want to build positive team culture. Encourage open dialogue and constructive debates with respect. It's okay to talk about things that you don't agree upon. Celebrate successes always to reinforce positive behaviors, but also learn from failures and foster a growth mindset. It's so important to bring out the mistake, whoever makes it, and especially you if you're the leader. Talk about it, bring it out in the open, and then talk about what you could have done differently and what you need to do to learn from it. Okay. Encourage open discussions about good and bad tension. So when you bring this thing into light and that you can explain to your team the difference between what is good tension and what is bad tension, it is so beneficial because now they're going to be aware of it. They're going to start thinking about it. Okay, hold on. This tension that I'm feeling, where's this coming from? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then be consistent. This is how good tension is established, with consistency. Allow room for mistakes. Talk about the lessons you've learned, what I said previously, from your own mistakes. Super important. And I can't tell you how many people play tight at work. And I've mentioned this before in a previous episode, but if you played team sports in the past, you know that when you're nervous or you don't want to make a mistake, you play tight. You're not loose. This happens all the time, especially in the younger generation. Create a culture to where it's okay to make mistakes. Yes, it's hard, but freedom is good, but freedom is hard. So make sure that everybody understands that, you know what, mistakes are normal. We're human, we all do it. What's important is that you learn from the mistake, though. And then 3, tailor urgency to personality types. And this is critical. I've talked about DISC personality assessments before in the past, but people will handle stress based on their personality types. So there's some that can handle it well, there's some that don't. So you've got the analytical thinkers that thrive on clear data, clear instruction, and logical steps to avoid ambiguity. You got the creative minds. They shine under good tension, but need freedom alongside structure. Then you have the empathetic team players. They value collaboration. They frame urgency as a shared challenge. And then you've got the action-oriented go-getters. They excel under high pressure, high stakes, but needs purposeful direction to avoid burnout. So you see, you have all these different personality types that it's going to handle tension differently. And for you as a leader, it's really important to understand that everybody's going to handle it differently. And you have to be aware of that so there's not going to be burnout. And then, one of the pro tips here is recognize fear-driven versus competitive motivation to manage expectations effectively. It's great to have a competitive mindset. It's great to, let's go do it, let's go get it. But you have to be aware of the motivation. And that's where knowing the personality styles and the personality types of your team is critical. All right, so how do we avoid bad tension? Well, again, you got to check your motivation. Ensure it's purpose-driven, not fear-based. If you're a leader that motivates through fear, or if you don't recognize that you do, I highly suggest that you talk to your team and ask them what motivates them and how you make them feel. Now, man, I get it. That's a challenging thing because you may not like what you hear, but man, I'm telling you, if you want to take your company to the next level, be honest with yourself and with your team. This is where it is fundamental to have a solid emotional intelligence and a high EQ awareness of your team. You want to avoid false urgency by prioritizing tasks effectively. And I ask my team all the time, if I'm delegating stuff, I want them to know what my priorities are because I know that they already have a list of priorities. And I'm not going to just inject mine on top of everything and then them not understand, okay, do I have to push everything to the side so I can do this? No, we talk about it. What's your priorities? What's my priorities? Let's align to make sure that we're on the same page. I've seen so many companies create bad tension due to a lack of organization, alignment, and infrastructure. And this goes into the systems that we talked about previously. If you do not have good infrastructure to handle the volume of work, it's going to crush your people. It's the fire drill because they don't slow down enough to go fast. And I'll say that again. If you don't slow down enough to make sure that things are done correctly and you have a system in place, it's really hard to go fast in business. Pro tip. Fear may drive action, but it's the wrong kind of motivation. It leads to burnout. So, good tension is fuel for a value-driven culture. What are the benefits of healthy urgency? It aligns employees around shared objectives while fostering personal growth. It increases ownership, engagement, and better outcomes for teams. It increases freedom. Freedom is messy, like I said before, and hard, but it's so good. You want to build up strong, capable people. Coaching toward big goals creates empowered individuals who drive success. And here's my final thought. Understanding the difference between good and bad tension is critical, but it's really all about building great people. You want to be able to coach your people in the right way to pull the best out of them, to set them up for the most success for them and their future. You will get the natural benefit of that as a business owner. But if you focus and your motivation is on developing your people, recognizing things that they might not be able to, keeping your pulse on the culture of your business, you're going to reap so many benefits in business. Well, I hope this made sense. Please visit thepovpodcast.com for more insights and download the free mini ebook, The Mindset Shift: How Successful Business Owners Think Differently. Thank you to our sponsor, Boost USA, a project management and professional services consultancy. Boost USA will help streamline your organization while also helping you build the internal infrastructure to grow your company and scale. The link is in the description below. Thank you. We will see you next time.